The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has said that Nigeria's insecurity is weaponized by politicians for political and selfish reasons. She was speaking on Sunday at the opening ceremony of the 2024 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association in Lagos State, where she said the actions of politicians had led the nation to its current state. The former Minister of Finance, who delivered a keynote address entitled A Social Contract for Nigeria's Future, asserted that there would not be any development in the country without having adequate security. Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu retired, who is a former spokesperson of the Nigerian Air Force. Well, he joins us now to react to the statement by the World Trade Organization boss, as well as the change of guard by President Bola Tinubu at the DSS and NI. Welcome to Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Group Captain.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you.
So what do you make of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's statements?
When people like Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala makes statements that concern national security or national issues in general, we have to take them serious because of the position she has held, both in Nigeria and abroad. I hear her saying that sometimes politicians exploit insecurity so as to portray their political rivals or to show that the government is ineffectual. This is a very serious charge. It is something that should be looked at with all seriousness. However, in doing so also, we have to look at where do we start getting this concept. Often we hear the government in power saying that whenever there's any security challenges, that there is the involvement of political opponents in either even organizing this insecurity or fueling it or assisting it. If we can recall, during the initial days of the Boko Haram insurgency, that was during the President Goodluck Jonathan administration, there were many stories about the Boko Haram itself as a phenomenon, or even the infamous abduction of the Chibok girls was carefully crafted by some politicians in order to discredit the government. This theory gained a lot of currency, but to the best of my knowledge, many years down, we have not seen, empirical evidence to say that Boko Haram is a state operation by either the opposition party or that the Chibok girls' abduction was orchestrated by political. So while I'm saying we should pay attention to what Dr. Okonjo-Iweala said, at the same time, we have to be careful not to be swallowing, conspiracy theories, which do not help us in identifying the source of the problem. In the long run, what did we see? We saw that Boko Haram insurgency or the abduction of the Chibok girls is as a result of mounting insecurity on its own, which our security architecture was not in a position to curtail. So at the same time, when we come to contemporary times, a lot of ink has been spilled over the last national strike, whether you call it hunger strike and bad governance strike, whatever you want to call it. Again, you hear similar, statements being made that the situation is now. We have to look. Are we saying that politicians on the opposite side of the divide are the ones that started the insecurity or helping it? It is something that is neither here nor there. But at the same time, I must respect the wordings of somebody like Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, but history has shown us that often government agencies, they may feed the president or whoever is in power with such theories as a substitute for bringing practical solutions that will end the insecurity. There may be, maybe at the subnational level, where you have one party's candidate for the governorship election trying to foment some kind of trouble to make appear. But what I am saying in general, it is very difficult when we look at our history to find practical application. We just finished this national, the national strike. Again, some people have been mentioned, which could be said in the opposition. But as of now, and this is where the danger is, if we continue saying this without bringing concrete evidence to show that this person or this organization were responsible for this and punishing them, people will begin to mistrust this kind of statement. And when there is mistrust, the negative thing is that the government will not get the support it is supposed to get from the ordinary citizens. It will be seen as such statements are just looking for excuses in the absence of credible response to our security challenges.
Well, we know that this isn't the first time such comments will be made, especially when it comes to insecurity in the country. And then also there have been comments and reactions trailing the appointment by President Tinubu of new heads of the DSS and NIA. Are there any, what would you say attribute that appointment to? Because some people have been saying that it's suspicious, the fact that the DSS and the NIA are top security agencies.
Well, thank you very much. No matter what happens, people will read different meanings into the appointments made by Mr. President. However, for me as a security analyst, first I will say, we look at what happened before and what is happening now. The two people that were removed from the NIA, the other person said he retired or he resigned while the other person was changed. Whatever nomenclature we'll use, we have to look at how did these people emerge. As somebody who is conversant with the talks around the security circles, one thing that we have to commend this following appointment, I'm always a stickler for following procedure, for allowing people who grew through agencies to eventually take the leadership of that agency. With due respect to the two gentlemen who have been replaced, some of them have already served their time in the agencies where they served. They have served their statutory 35 years and left service when former President Muhammadu Buhari brought them to come and take over from the agencies. Whether we admit it or not, there was a lot of rancor within the agencies regarding these appointments of bringing people from outside who have already served their term and left to come and head the agencies, whereas there are people who, every professional, when I joined the military, I had the plan that I will rise to the highest rank and head the military. It is a legitimate expectation, even though we know it's not everybody that will reach there. So for every professional and every organization, he would like to see himself rise. He would like to know that I have the chance. Not necessarily I will be the one, but I have the chance to compete and rise. So when we bring people from outside to come and take over agencies, honestly, it brings a lot of disillusionment from those people in the agency. So on that note, I have to congratulate the president, because I have looked at the CV of the two gentlemen that I brought in. These are thoroughbred people that have risen through the rank. Now, having said that, with regards to the suspicion that some people are saying, again, it is in Nigeria, whenever you make any appointment, people are likely to look at identity markers, whether ethnic, whether religious, whether sectional. I mean, that is the way we are. You cannot, preclude that. However, what is the important thing is that these people, no matter their identities, let them do the work that they were appointed to do. More importantly, these two agencies, if you look at Nigeria's security architecture, there are some of the agencies that are almost at liberty to design their agenda. What do I see? They are under the supervision, loose supervision, I must say. They are under the loose supervision of the presidency because they do not have a minister under them. They do not report anybody. They report to the president. The president is a very busy man. The point I am trying to make is that the head of NIA or DSS, probably more than other security agencies, they have the liberty to design their agenda and run their agencies the way they feel they want to do. The danger of that is that if you have somebody who is very mischievous, he may run the agency aground. He may allow personal agenda instead of national security agenda to dictate. Because like I said, the president, not being an intelligence man himself, there is a limit to which he can supervise these agencies. So what I would call on the new appointees is to try and see they improve on what their predecessors have done and to ensure that, they acquit themselves in a very professional and the work of an intelligence agency head, especially in a democracy like ours in Nigeria, is very challenging. On the one hand, as professional, you are supposed to be apolitical. You are supposed to be guided by ethical and professional considerations in carrying out your responsibilities. But at the same time, you have also been appointed by a politician who sometimes may have some interest, So there is tendency sometimes to color everything under national security, even political issues. Now the challenge for these people, I don't know how they are going to confront it, is remaining apolitical, independent, and very professional, even where issues involve the president who appointed them or involves the ruling party of which he is heading. It is going to be a very tasking job. Not many who headed these agencies have been able to navigate. And if you do that, the danger of not being professional is that you look public trust. Okay, you get the okay of the Mr. President who appointed you, who might give you a first term or second term, or second tenure as the case may be. But on the other hand, you may lose public trust. So I think out of all the challenges they are going to face, especially the head of the DSS, because he's involved with internal intelligence. The NIA man, it's mostly a foreign affairs issue, but the DSS person is going to always face the challenge of remaining professionally and apolitical, while at the same time satisfying the person that appointed him.
And we know the DSS historically is a bit of a troubled agency, and you do know their track records. And we know that the issues within both of these agencies include, as you have mentioned, personal agendas and corruption. What should they be looking into? Should they be downsizing some of the personnel within the agency? Do you expect a shakeup in either of the agencies in an attempt to flush out some of the individuals who might not have had the best agenda for the agency in mind?
Well, I do not have, as a fact, the strength of either the NI or DSS to say whether they should be downsizing or right-sizing. However, recruitment of quality personnel, these agencies are agencies that need people with various kind of skills, whether it is IT, whether it is foreign languages skills, whether it is area knowledge, whether it is photography. So the issue of recruitment is a continuous issue. But the quality of people you recruit, the manner you do the recruitment is very important. I want to see these agencies, certainly, without going into details, there are areas where these agencies are lacking that, inhibits them from carrying out their task. And their most important asset is human resource. So in doing this recruitment, they should look far and wide and look for quality people that will be able to do the work. Whether there are some people that are used to the former way of doing things, now it depends on the boss, like I said. If he wants to be fully professional, to a large extent, any president would allow the head of the DSS or NIA to run the agency the way he is, to a large extent, not completely. So, like I said, they are one of the agencies, they are imbued with one advantage. That is the advantage to draw their agenda. These new bosses have the right, they have, like I said, they grew up through the system. They know what is wrong with the system, they know what is right with the system. They have been through it. So if they have the moral courage, if they have the professional inclination, they can do a lot in terms of raising the profile and reducing the public distrust of the DSS in particular. That is very, very important for the DSS boss. He has to try and you can only get it by treating all people, whether a case is concerning this political party or another, should not be the concern of the DSS head. Ideally, I said ideally, because maybe we are not in ideal situations. So please, professional handling, fair treatment of all cases, following the rule of law, stopping overreach. Because again, I must say in the recent past, we have had DSS entering into some, purviews that are not likely. DSS by design is more often likely to be seen as going into covert operations rather than overt operations. I don't think it's in global best practice to see an agency like DSS being involved in Rambo kind of operations. No, I don't think that is their purview. Of course, there are times where show of force may be necessary, but they have to be ready. And again, we're seeing new challenges, like the last public protest. The DSS and all other security agencies have to learn how to handle some of these crises. Sometimes it is not only guns and bullets that is addressing these steps. There are things like de-escalation, things like negotiations, things like even proactive. In DSS in particular, I would like to see them more focusing on gathering intelligence. They are more, first and foremost, an intelligence gathering agency as opposed to a Rambo military type or police type of operation. That is not their purview. Their purview is proactively searching for information and stopping the act before it happens, and passing where there is some rainbow kind of military action that is happening, then cooperation, pass the knowledge or pass the information you have to the agencies that are more attuned to those kinds of operations. That is the little advice I have to say.
Well, if you look at the way the NIA boss left office as the past NIA boss, when he was asked what his reason was for resigning, he gave some vague explanation as to why he was leaving office, which of course raised questions as to why he was abruptly, or why he left office abruptly. And that has been, raising comments and different reactions in different quarters. I would like you to just react to that.
Well, again, we always have to treat our history. In Nigerian history, incoming governments, normally, they do not inherit service chiefs. They do not inherit NIA boss. They do not inherit DIG boss. If you look, with some few exceptions, most incoming presidents, they don't inherit these people. However, we saw a different style with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. He has spent at least 1 year plus with the with the DIGs in the NIA and the DSS. We don't know the reason. And with regards to what made, I note what you are saying. In the case of the NIA boss, we hear resignation. In fact, it was some hours or maybe a day after resignation, then we hear that they have. But again, when you look at the media, nobody wants to, it's just like a normal change. But we know there was an issue of resignation. And I think even the interview he granted, in my own opinion, that is the NIA boss, he wants to show that I resigned. Now, as to the reason why he resigned, I wish I was a fly on the wall in the presidential office to know why he resigned. In the absence of that, we have to speculate. We read a lot of things, but we may never know. Only him and Mr. President know what happens. Some said that, he had an inkling that is going to be changed. So instead of hearing his resignation, he said, I'm retiring. Some said on his own, he decided he wants us to resign, and he has resigned. And that's what he told us on the interview. But whatever the reasons are, again, like I said, we saw a change. They stayed with the incoming president for a year plus, and now he wants to change them. But again, like I said, what I find most important in this appointment is bringing people from within the organization to head the organization, like what we saw in the past. Well, like I said, I will emphasize, caused a lot of rancor within the agencies of bringing somebody who has served his time and retired, and then bringing him, curtailing the career of other professionals in the agencies.
Well, we will continue to watch this space. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.